There was a thump from upstairs. That's largely where we left off last time. Something heavy dropping to the floor. Coach Jenkins looking up and then looking at Doug and Margot as if I've just been tricked here was flashing across his eyes and mind. And, of course, Kevin was the cause of that thump. Kevin had just extracted a photo album from beneath Coach Jenkins' mattress, which revealed the coach, and possibly others, involved in various nefarious, frankly sickening pursuits with some of the younger inhabitants of Novaville and attendees of the high school. It's dark and twisted stuff. Right now only Kevin is aware. Kevin, you've not looked at those photographs in close detail. There's probably no desire, even base curiosity, to do so. You have the album in hand. You were told that you needed to... well, you needed to get it out of here. It was one of the elements that you were told by something you think was Nikolai, the man you helped burn to death, to set everything on its right course, to free yourself, your family, and Novaville from this plague of misery that has been afflicting it. But how an article like this can actually improve things? Is it true that exposure to the light can remove all evil from the world? Sounds like a hopeful ideal more than a pragmatic one, and there's something, Kevin, that you've dealt with in your life time and time again when having to deal with repeat failures and disappointments, whether it's in your career, in your marriage, hell, even with your children from time to time. It's that living in constant hope only ever leads to disappointment. You are currently holding the most rancid document or collection of documents that you have ever been exposed to. How this could lead to anything positive is beyond you. The question is, how much do you trust this Nikolai figure that spoke to you as if in a dream, that was able to affect you physically from that dreaming space? Kevin, you are currently upstairs. You are clutching this photo album. You tell me, what are you thinking and what are you doing?
Having seen a glimpse of what was contained within the sick stuff, I mean, how much of this did I have any idea was going on? I mean, I've grown up here. I've been around these people. Was this something I always suspected, or is it coming as a shock even to me?
There's always been rumours. Of course there's always been rumours. They were often written off as jokes. Usually the kids in the sports team who are either superlative and at the head of their game, or kids who were at the back and needing extra tuition. They always came out with stories of one tale of abuse, or, as it was often phrased, grab ass, or the other. Locker room talk, it's often referred to as. And if you complain, if you whine, if you bitch, if you moan, well, you're a pussy. You can't take a joke. You're not really a man. You don't cut it in the team. Whereas if you go along to get along, keep your mouth shut, except when ordered otherwise, well, in that case, maybe you're a good team player. Kevin, you are forced to rack your brain when confronted with that question, that internal question, was I aware of this? Well, the question more seriously is, did this ever happen to me? I was in that team. Eli Jenkins coached me. I was at that school all the way through my formative and teenage years. Was this happening right in front of me? Was this happening to me? There is a gap there. If it did, you certainly can't recall it. You don't feel like you're carrying some deep-seated trauma around with you that you've held within or visited upon others or anything like that. But you've seen the evidence in, albeit just a couple of seconds worth of viewing. There were faces there you recognised. There were locations you recognised. Locker rooms behind the bleachers, that sort of thing. You recognised it all, but you can't place yourself there. Were you somehow exempt? You don't know.
I try to make sense of it. I mean, I was the quarterback. I could have gotten away with anything I wanted to get away with, really. It happened in plenty of other schools. Quarterbacks could get away with sexual assault, beating people up, stealing, whatever. I mean, it was all for the good of the school at the end of the day. I don't know if that was something that I ever really used. I mean, I like to remember those days as me trying to do the right thing, trying to lead the team and being focused on the sport. But what we remember, and what we choose to remember, rather, well, it changes with time, and perhaps I'm just choosing to remember the good things. Perhaps that's it.
Perhaps. There is an element to it that you can't shake, and that is, strangely, your friendship with Margot and Doug. It's at the back of your mind, but it doesn't mean it doesn't go away. You were a team player. You were a star quarterback, no doubt about it. For a while, you were the apple of Eli Jenkins' eye, and in all the local newspapers as star of the school. But you never hung with those people. You were friends with Margot and Doug. When it came to the end of game time, yeah, you tidied the kits away, you cleared up the field, all the stuff you were due to do, but you weren't a big party goer. You weren't a heavy drinker. You were hanging out with Margot and Doug, being, frankly, what in today's day and age would probably be considered quite geeky pursuits. You were more interested in the community. You were more interested in getting your points in for when you could inevitably go for college. You wanted to, well, leave a mark beyond just being a quarterback. Maybe that's what removed you from this. Maybe having those friends of yours who are currently downstairs with, well, let's call him what he is. A paedophile, a pervert, a rapist. Maybe they are the people who you have to thank for saving you from the jaws of this lion.
That's probably true. Well, the clock is ticking here, and that noise I just made, I wouldn't be surprised if the coach had ended up hearing that and might have even gotten suspicious. I'm looking around for something to cover this album with, something that might not look so suspicious, like a magazine or something like that, something to just make it less obvious that I'm carrying this thing that is obviously very important to the coach given where it had been placed. Is there something like that I can find around here?
Yeah, there's plenty of magazines. There's even a bag, a sports bag you could slip it into.
That sounds perfect. I'll do that.
Well, downstairs, of course, there has been a direct knock-on effect from that sound. Eli's eyes narrowing as he looks between Margot and Doug. What the fuck is Kevin doing up there? He asks both of you. His fists clench. You answer me right fucking now or I'm gonna put your head through that fucking glass. Gesturing at the French windows separating his house from the backyard.
I raise an eyebrow. I step back a single step.
Don't you step away from me, boy. I remember when you were in short pants at my school. When a teacher asks you a question, you answer him.
Oh, hold your horses, sir. What is Kevin doing? Kevin, did you get lost on the way to the bathroom?
Don't
Kevin.
speak to him. You speak to me.
For a moment, I am taken aback. quite simply because I'm genuinely not used to people talking to me in such a manner. My reaction to that, though, isn't fear or intimidation. It's a bubbling anger. Hey, how dare you speak to me like this, you stupid old man? But I try and hold it back. Just start smiling, and I do just look to Margot.
Oh, she's the ringleader, is she? Mrs. Butter wouldn't melt. I'm gonna get an answer from you before Kevin comes down, or you're all gonna be in a lot of trouble.
We're gonna be in trouble. What on earth does that mean? It's illegal to go to someone's bathroom?
He actually snarls. If it were a cartoon, you'd imagine the exhalation of steam puffs coming out from his nostrils. He's like a bull all of a sudden. His shoulders are hunched and his head is low, and he's just looking up at Margot now.
I'm gonna count down. Do not let me reach 0.
And I am going to jump in with the number before he can, as a very overt challenge. 3. And I'm going to reach to the small of my back, where I have a hunting knife. I am going to look up at the ceiling, to somewhere in the distance, to wherever or whatever Kevin is doing. Then I'm going to turn and look at Doug with a face that's going to remind him that we have a purpose here, and that our purpose is far beyond whatever little skirmish is happening here with the retired coach of Novaville. Jenkins is our past. We have a future. We could have a future if we stay the course. So 3.
Fine, you want to play this game, Missy?
2.
He turns around, looks at Doug.
I will strike her.
Eli, calm down. Kevin, come downstairs. You're causing the old coach to have a little bit of an incident, and, we don't want an incident here, Eli. Have you lost your mind? If you want us to leave your property, we'll leave, but what? You're threatening to beat up women now. The community won't stand for that, Eli.
I mean, even though you know that he has some reason to be disturbed, you don't know the actual reason for it. The clearest thing, though, is he is rattled beyond rationality. Whatever Kevin has stumbled across, or whatever Eli Jenkins thinks he has stumbled across, the coach has gone into survival mode. He grabs one of those heavy books of photos from the stacks you were all pouring through and moves to swing it. Swing it firmly in Margot's direction. Now, Bridgett, if you want Margot to defend with the hunting knife that you have behind your back, or just lunge at him, you certainly can. A hunting knife is more lethal than a photo album. Alternatively, you have something different in mind, like just dodging, or even taking the hit. What are you going to do? Because he moves fast for an old man. He's a cornered animal right now.
There are so few things you can do with a cornered animal. He's not going to back down. So we'll have to back him down. I'm going to counterattack with a knife.
Can I ask for you to, instead of rolling reflexes to avoid harm, we're just going to go straight to violence. It's quite possible he's going to strike you, essentially swinging high with the photo album. He goes for your head, while you plunge for his abdomen. It's quite possible to get both off simultaneously, especially as his arms are going to be up high. So make your violence roll, please.
The sum of the violence roll will be a 14.
You're not trying to dodge out of the way, and smack across the side of the face. Wow, you have never been struck so hard. You see stars. To your benefit, perhaps, as you stick the old coach in the guts. As you drag away, this forces you to drag the blade with you. So this isn't just a simple puncture just above his navel. This is a jagged line that cuts across his stomach, and straight away, Doug, Margot, you're not really computing all of this, but Doug, you see it. You've never really even seen movies that depict this quite as viscerally as this. You see the flash of metal. You actually hear the squelch of guts being severed. And then, it's within a second, those guts start pouring out. In one slice, Margot has successfully disemboweled Coach Jenkins. Doug, you perhaps weren't expecting this. Can I ask you to make a coolness roll, please?
I take a step back. My eyes widen. This is not what I expected, and not something I'm necessarily ready for. Hence I get 9.
Jenkins lets out a squeal like a stuck pig as you drag the blade across his stomach area, and his legs shake. They visibly shake as he tries to keep himself up. There is some implicit part of him that knows on a deep instinctive level that if he falls, this blade is just going to go deeper. And so his weight is trying to support his weight, which doesn't tend to work when it comes to humans. Legs aren't quite as heavy as torsos. And so he wobbles and he shakes. And that only makes things worse as Doug, from behind, because you are behind him, you see the slop, plop, and flop and splash of rivers of intestines just slapping to the floorboards. You've got to get out of here, Doug. You cannot stay in here. This is not what you signed up for. Yes, you had a plan. Yes, you definitely had a plan. You had something in mind that might go something like this, but it wasn't this. You have never seen an animal gutted before. You've certainly never seen a human gut. Yeah, you need to go. You need to go. You need to get out.
I turn, I begin rapidly moving out of the room. I call upstairs quite weakly, "Kevin, get the fuck down here!"
Kevin bumps into you. He's carrying a sports bag. Kevin, you are hearing the distressed screech of a dying animal as well from the study direction. Margot is nowhere to be seen. You're just looking at an incredibly pale Doug.
I grab Kevin by the shoulders and just switch places with him, and then just walk out the door and walk back to the car, and I just start pacing and hyperventilating.
And I just follow, trying my very best to not hear those squeals. It's sickening. I think I know what it is, but I'm pretending that it's something else. Maybe he had a pet. Yeah. It was an accident. I have what I came for. I'm just getting the hell out of there.
Kevin, you leave Margot behind. Margot, those stars are in your eyes, but you can actually feel what you're doing because that splash of gore is running up your hand, over your wrist, down your sleeve. Do you let go of the knife? You know on some level, Margot, this isn't going to kill him. This is going to... Yes, over a period of time, he would die. But now you have a grossly injured man who, if you just leave him here, could call the cops. It could, of course, call for an ambulance. If anyone finds out about this, if he calls Josh...
No, as the stars settle over my vision and I am feeling hot blood running down my fingers and my wrist and my forearms. I've hunted before. I'm actually a very competent hunter. This isn't the first time that I've gutted something, but this is the first time that I've been inside of a human. And I hate him for reasons that I can't explain. I don't know if it's just because he's in our way or because he wasn't handled or because I can't explain why I hate him. But I do know that the two of us in this moment are past the point of no return. I can't leave him like this. He's a liability to everything that we have to accomplish, and we have a very, very full day ahead of us. And I can't have him making this type of noise either. It's going to attract the neighbors. The humane thing to do at this point would be to put Eli down. And Eli did it to himself. I didn't provoke this. Eli did. Eli attacked me. This is self-defense to a point. But now I'm just showing mercy. I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for our families. I'm doing this for our future. And Eli just isn't a part of it. So I'm going to continue. And I need to get him as quiet as quickly as possible.
So you dragging that blade back and forth and giving it a twist, or are you going to pull it out and go for the throat or somewhere slightly higher up? You tell me.
No, let's retract this and go directly across the jugular.
Okay, you pull the blade out. Along with it comes the piece of his colon that it was stuck on. You have cut this guy pretty damn deeply, because his insides seem to want to eject themselves from a very frail body, increasingly frail. As you go for his throat, one of his hands is trying in vain to keep everything in. It's too late for that. The other hand goes for yours. You try for the slice. He tries to grab your wrist while it is in motion. It is a desperate last attempt, perhaps futile, but he's going to try anyway. This is the body's reserves telling him, I've got to survive this. I've got to stop this. The only way I can stop this is by disabling you. On some level, Margot, you realise your inner selves, your ids, if you like, they're almost having the same conversation. This is you or me. I either survive this or I'm not getting out of this. Could I ask for another violence roll, please?
It's another 14.
Okay. He does grab your wrist, but that just means with his weakness, he essentially traces the path of his own death. He feels your hand draw the blade across his neck and open it up and create another shower of blood that sprays and runs. It's nowhere near deep enough to call it a decapitation. It's almost surgical. It's a slight snick across the windpipe and the jugular, and then he is no longer holding on. Not to his insides, not to your wrist. He takes a step forward. He slips on his own internal organs. He crashes in a destructive heap as several piles of books land on him. His left arm, twitching spasmodically, is reaching out for something to purchase on, but for one thing it's slick and sticky with blood, but for another, everything he is grabbing is loose. Piles of magazines adds to the piles of books. By the time you can snap out of this murderous trance, Margot, to your relief, you can barely see the man. You can see his ankles and his feet protruding from this stack, and they still twitch and spasm. But you can't see his body, you can't see his arms, you can't see all of those insides that are pooled beneath him, and you can't see his head. Hell, even the pool of blood is getting soaked up pretty effectively by all this paper literature. Who said this was a bad thing after all to hoard like this? Quite an efficient cleaning mechanism, yeah. Strange where the mind goes at times like this. You still have the knife.
And that comes with me. There's a moment of pause as I am looking over what I can see of him, the pages absorbing the blood, the twitching ankle. God, Eli, what did you do? God, what did you do? 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 And I stop and I turn around. And I realize I'm in this house by myself. Doug was just behind me, but he's not. Kevin was coming down the stairs. I heard him. And now he's not. They left me alone in this house. They left me alone with a predator who attacked me first. And I think in this delirium and this overwhelming just avalanche of emotions, I settle on such disappointment that my friends and my loved ones aren't here. I look at myself, I look at the blood that's ruined this particular top. And I don't want to risk stepping outside with that, so I will go upstairs. This is Novaville's coach, the previous one, the deceased one. He has to have a Novaville high school sweatshirt or t-shirt, or championship shirt, something that she can exchange into.
For a man of his age and size and general standing in the community, what you find as you open his deep wardrobe is it's surprisingly so. If you didn't know better, you'd look at all of these jerseys and think, this looks like a trophy cabinet. But you've got to put that from your mind because, yeah, there are certainly plenty here that would fit you. Most of them are suited to high schoolers. Not that you're looking for something fashionable or tightly fitting.
No. I'll be home soon. I can get this cleaned up. So this will be just something that fits, something that's dry, something that's not covered in blood and viscera. I'll wrap the hunting knife in the shirt that is. I'll tuck it into a bag. I'll come down the stairs. And then I need to look both of my teammates in the face.
As you head on down the stairs, you feel that dreadful, acrid smell of smoke in your nostrils and on your tongue again. It's there and then it's not.
I pause for just a moment when that odor hits. And I'm going to call out 1 out of 3 down. And wait.
I haven't even acknowledged what's going on. I'm still by the car, just staring at the ground, trying to control my breathing. I clench my eyes, I open them, I notice Kevin's there, and I notice Margot, and I just say, What the fuck just happened?
Your phone goes off, Doug. It's buzzing.
I look at my phone in terror, answer it, looking at the others wide-eyed, as I say, Hey, Doug here.
Yeah, I know who you are, Dad. It's Sally.
Oh. Hey, sweetie. Daddy's in a meeting right now. What's up? I can't talk long.
Just letting you know, Mom just pulled in the drive.
Oh, great. Okay.
So that's good news. We'll be having something good to eat tonight.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, I work it late tonight, but I'll be home, and you just stay safe. I'm filled with conflicting emotions, after all. I have, in my own mind, justified that there was nothing wrong with my wife. She was just, well, a wife who wants to leave me, which is fine. It's not a harm to my children, but of course, with what's going on, there is still some doubt there. Now this is happening, but I have no time. I just say, just be safe, sweetie, and ring me if, there's any problems. Not that there would be, but, just in case, I'll come home.
Okay, love you.
I love you too, sweetie. I hang the phone up. Where's Eli? Where's the body, Marco?
The body? You had a pet in there, right? Some kind of accident, right?
Oh, my fucking God, Kevin! Did you not even look? I was having a, and I hesitate to use the word panic attack. Never mind. Margot, where's the body?
I look at you and I look through you. In the same room that you left me in, Doug. The body's in the exact same room that you left me in when he attacked me.
Oh, hey, you three! Betty Hanratty from the house next door waves from her front yard.
I wave back, trying to pretend like everything is just fine and hoping that... I mean, I guess Margot is covered in blood.
Not her top, but certainly her hands and probably her shoes, given that she was standing in an increasing torrent of human abdomen. But Betty doesn't seem to react to that. She just gives you a wave. She has always been rather short-sighted. You've always known her for those smoked-up glasses. Steve Sanderson tomorrow.
Oh, it's gonna be swell.
Can't wait. It's gonna be such a day for the community, huh?
Oh, hi, Margot. She waves again.
I wave. Hi, Betty.
Will Josh be coming to the parade?
You know he wouldn't miss a good show.
That's right. I won't get in the middle of your business. Y'all have a good day now.
You too, Betty. You too. I'm gonna get in the car. Maybe we could have this conversation somewhere that's not in front of this house.
I blink as Margot gets in the car. I just say, exasperated, "We can't leave a body in the house! Fuck!" And I just start marching back to the house.
What are you gonna do?
I don't answer. I've already just marched back in. Part of it from urgency and mania, and part of it from shame. Margot is right. I failed. I was the leader, and I walked out of the room. What is wrong with me? Yes, we've just murdered an innocent man, but I should have still done something, and I need to do it now. So I'm marching back in. I take a deep breath. I go to the kitchen quickly. I start looking for gloves or detergent or something. We need to clean the body. We need to get it in the fucking car. We need to get the body in the car. Quick.
Doug, you were always indie when you used to play with these two as a kid. You were Indiana Jones. You were the hero. You were the leader of the pack. Keeps bouncing around inside your skull. Indy wouldn't just leave Marion like that to kill the Nazi or the evil cultist or whatever the plot of the film should be. You are a failure. You're a coward. You've shown your true colours. And as you scrabble through kitchen drawers and utility drawers, you realise that you're leaving your fingerprints over absolutely everything, and no matter what you do here to clean up the scene is not going to clean up your presence. Not only are your prints on places, yes, you could wipe them, but how could you be absolutely sure of everything you've touched? You saw the injury, the damage that was being dealt to Jenkins. Even if you removed his body, it wouldn't get rid of all the gore. And now there's a neighbour that's seen you, and what are you going to do? Kill every neighbour on the block that happens to identify that you're here? It's not like you're travelling around in an unmarked car, either. I mean, your wife watches a lot of true crime shows. Even if she were here, I mean, thank goodness she isn't, she would be telling you right now, you're fucked. The only thing you can hope for is a miracle. And going back to that thought rattling around in your skull, Doug. Well, when Indiana Jones needed help, God himself intervened, didn't he? More than one occasion. Remained an archaeologist despite all that. He didn't become some street preacher with an attitude, but God intervened. Right now you don't have God. Yeah, you're a believer. But God isn't standing there blinding all the witnesses and erasing all the evidence. You do have Nikolai. Nikolai said that everything would be alright if you did what he said.
He did. The devil said everything will be alright if I do as he says. Fuck. But It's all I've got. So I'll stop. But there's still one thing I have to do. I can't get rid of the evidence, I can't get rid of the circumstances, but the body is key. Now that's key. Because the original plan, it could still work. There's gonna be a couple of bodies in a fire after all, why not this one? And it's one thing to find evidence of breaking in, it's one thing to find evidence of a struggle, but the actual evidence of murder, you only prove when you find a body. So I don't gotta bother cleaning anything. I'm gonna go and try and find, does he have like a rug or a carpet or something?
Sure, just knock that coffee table over and you've got a perfectly serviceable worn rug.
I poke my head out the door of the house. Kevin, come in and help me. Lift something to the car, Kevin. Thank you. Get in here. We need to step up.
Okay, Doug. Sure. I put the album in the car, in the bag, in the back there, and I'll head in to help Doug then.
And I get you to help me clumsily wrap a dead body in a rug and try and bring it to the car. The whole time we're doing this, I look very calm now, but maybe not very well.
No, it's difficult to elegantly carry a body in a rug. It's thankfully lighter than most cadavers, simply because it's already been exsanguinated in large parts, as well as, of course, filleted. So you don't have quite as much to carry from the girthy coach. But still, you are carrying a body in a rug, and a rug wrapped around a body isn't exactly a tight fit. And so you stagger and wobble a little. Margot, you're sat in the car. Are you watching this? Is your head in your hands? Where is your mind at?
I'm in the car, and I'm reconciling the fact that Eli effectively did this to himself. He gutted himself. He opened his own throat. He did this to himself. It was self-defense. And even if it weren't, it was for the good of the neighborhood. If that bag is dropped in the car, may I look at its contents?
Sure. This is why you came here.
1 out of 3 down. I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to pull open that bag and I'm going to retrieve that album with a hesitant curiosity. I don't know what a filament is. I don't know what Nikolai wants with it, but I'll give it a quick thumb through.
Yeah, you don't need to give it a thumb through. Well, unless you really want to. There's nothing subtle about its contents. They all depict scenes of sexual violence. There's no intention to make anything look consensual. This is a photo album of humiliation. I mean, there are some people, especially young victims, such as the ones depicted in this, who would be convinced by someone like Coach Jenkins that because you look like this could be used to embarrass you in future. So keep your mouth shut.
I start crying. Children don't deserve this. And even more so, things like this aren't supposed to happen in our community. Things like this aren't supposed to happen where we live. And given the date and the age and the attire on some of these children, he's been at this for a while and we have missed it for so long. I feel humiliated. I feel shame. I feel regret. Because it's our job to stop things like this from happening. And I have worked so hard to control the flow of incoming traffic into this neighborhood. And we had a predator of this degree of heinousness directly under our nose that we all celebrated, that we all loved. I started trying to unpack whether this was willful deniability. Did I see this and just didn't want to see it? And then the thought struck, oh God, they're in the house. What the fuck are they doing in the house? And I look at the album and I look at the open front door, and I'm going to grab the album and I'm going to run back inside.
You practically bump into the two of them as they are ambling their way toward the front door. Kevin, you're at the front, you drop the rug. The body doesn't slide anywhere. It isn't that kind of farce. But with a crump, he is on the ground again. You can see Margot there, eyes open wide, teeth clenched together, the album in her hands.
I saw...
Leave him. Leave him. Leave him. Leave him. Leave him.
I looked to Doug.
Margot, we need... The body gonna need to go with the others in the fire now. We can't just leave... I get it. We can't clean up all the evidence, we can. But even the devil can't just make the body disappear.
And I'm going to pull out that album and just open it up blindly to any 2 pages and let Doug look at it.
Doug, you see Steve Sanderson in an incredibly compromised position.
I turn my face away in shock and horror. I don't really understand what I'm seeing. I don't want to understand. But then I just say, what does that change anything? What, you think I'm trying to get the body out of here out of sympathy for the man? I'm getting him out of here for us!
Doug, we don't have to move him. We don't have to do anything. If the community knows about this, they will clean all of this up for us.
Wait, what do you mean knows about this? What? They want to look at that shit. Wait, is that Kevin? What did you find upstairs? Is that it?
That is what we were looking for. And it shows... I can't even put it into words. The coach... What he's been up to. He and the others. It's unforgivable. It all went on under our noses. So yeah, Margot has a point. The community is going to clean this up. They have to.
I drop my end of the body.
Thump.
I pace. Wait, you're saying... Wait a minute. It's clearly all a bit too much for me, but maybe I do just look at Margot and meekly just start heading back to the car.
They'll only have 2 choices. Doug. They'll either help us erase this and celebrate us, or we leverage it against them. But either way, this isn't a now problem. This isn't even our problem. The community will handle this.
But wait, no, there's one problem. Didn't your guy Kevin say we have to burn that? Isn't that the fucking evidence? Or maybe is there more evidence? Or maybe we could take...
He's gonna sort it all out.
Those fucking
He's gonna
pictures
sort
out.
it all out. We just need to do these things. And then everything's gonna be alright. That's what he said.
That fuck... He's the one who's causing all this, though! You really think when we do all this, the fucking devil is gonna say thanks for the help, bros, and ladies, and oh, fuck. And I just start walking to the car.
Yeah, I choose to think that, Doug. I say, and I look to Margot. Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay?
No. I'm glad you're alright, though. I'm sorry you had to do that. But I'm not sorry that you did.
I nod through tearful eyes, and I look so proud of you in this moment. We have to keep going.
Yeah, we do. Come on, let's get going.
And I'll slip my arm around Kevin's waist and button up to his side, giving him one of those awkward teenage side girl hugs. And then I will go and join Doug in the car, who for the second time in under 30 minutes has walked away from me.
Once all 3 of you are in the car again, in a sense it feels like a weight has been lifted and another one has replaced it. Can you truly cure a poison or treat one with another poison? Can you use the devil to erase a monster? Well, time will tell, won't it? Because what's the next step on the agenda? You were all set a task. Steve Sanderson should be arriving probably later tonight, before the events of the parade. He's not just going to fly in and be straight on the street. He'll be staying in a hotel in town. But he's not here yet. The other objective that Nikolai set for you, specifically you, Margot, was to retrieve his vehicle and park it outside his old residence, or the location of his old residence, where it had been burned to ash at yours and other hands. The wreckage of that car, he said, was under the present-day Nova Mall, still built upon what amounts to a scrap heap come landfill, and still accessible as such. Why they decided that, it was almost like trying to plaster over pig shit with a work of art. Certainly that's how some dissenters have described it. But the people behind the Nova Mall, largely community offerings, and of course some venture capitalists from out of town, people who wanted to put money into a massive eyesore like the Nova Mall, thought, well, there's nowhere cheaper than a landfill, so let's build it there. Just so happens that that rusted old car should still be underneath it. Are you heading straight there, or do you have other plans?
I don't think I have any other plans, no. I think I just I'm silent in the car for a while, and I just say to Kevin, so we need to go and get your car. Let's go and get your car.
Yeah. That's next on the list, right, Margot?
Yeah, that's next on the list. Can I go home and get changed?
That should be fine, right? Right, Doug? That should be fine. It won't take long.
You know what? You're right. It's probably fine. Nothing, after all, is logical anymore. So yeah, sure. It's probably absolutely fine. Yeah, it's great. Let's do that. Yep.
You swing by Margot's home. Margot, you're able to dart in, wash off your hands, quickly shower off your feet. Just dump those blood-soaked clothes in the bathtub or the washing machine. Maybe even the trash. And get yourself a different outfit. I assume you're still dressing to be unobtrusive, inconspicuous.
Absolutely.
Things like workout gear, for power walking and such. You're not in anything highfalutin and trying to draw attention.
No.
Okay. So it doesn't take long. While Margot is gone, is there anything Doug and Kevin wish to discuss in the car?
I suppose I do just say, almost to myself, maybe this was a good thing. Maybe if he was doing shit like that, he's not innocent anymore. You get why that was a problem, right? Until you showed me that fucking stuff, Kevin. I thought we just fucking killed a stupid, ugly, but innocent man.
Yeah, no. He was a horrible man. At least that's what I know now. I used to look up to him. He was my coach. I
always thought he was a piece of shit, but so many people at that school were. No, but maybe you're right. Maybe the community they won't report it to the police. They'll see and they'll know, because maybe Nikolai will fucking tell them, and they'll know that we had to do that. He was gonna fucking attack Margot. I only ran because I thought I didn't know what to do.
I get that. I don't think I knew what to do either. I got kind of scared there. It's the sounds that he were making. I don't think I'm gonna be able to sleep for a good long while. Those sounds, they were not natural.
No, they weren't, but I wouldn't worry about that, Kevin. Right now, you, me, Margot, we're probably all fucked anyway.
Don't say that.
But maybe there's a chance for
Don't say that.
How
we're getting through this. We're gonna work together and we're gonna solve this. That's what we're gonna do. We have a list of tasks to do. We are a team, you know, and we do these exercises and then we're gonna go to the game. And we're gonna win the game. Because that's what a team does.
You really think Nikolai is gonna keep his word? He's not. Remember, he's a fucking killer too. I get it now. I think I get it. This is all to destroy us. You, me, Margot, we were the best of this community. The best people in it. The only good people, maybe. And that's why he's like, what better thing for the devil to do than to fucking ruin us? And he is. We're being ruined, Kevin. Fucking ruined.
Don't listen to him, Mr. Miller.
Voice just in your ear, like a bug has landed just on your lobe and is whispering to you. In fact, you can feel it crawling around there, Kevin. Like a thunderbug or a small fly has just landed on your ear and is creeping around, speaking to you.
Don't you listen to him. Don't you listen to his doubts. Mr. Miller, you're doing a good thing. You're doing the right thing. I'll tell you something, Mr. Miller. You've already done your part. I told you I'd free you. Told you I would free you when you did your part. You're free now. Took a little work, but we had a deal. We had a deal. You've done your part. Oh, it wasn't quite what I planned. You haven't burned nothing yet. Sometimes sunlight is just as good as fire. Expose it to the light, Mr. Miller. You've as good as done that. So I've freed you now. Really, now, Mr. Miller, it's up to you if you want to stick around and free the community as well, innit? Because you, my friend, you've earned your freedom. You're one of the good boys. You were chosen. That's right.
The bug flies off out the window.
That's right. I'm one of the good boys. I say aloud so that you can hear it as well, Doug.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. That's why he's done this. But you don't need to worry. I get it. He's won regardless. Not do what he wants. We'll be fucked. Do what he wants. Fucked. So he may as well do what he fucking wants.
We'll be okay. Doug, I say, and I put my hand on your shoulder, trying to look as inspiring of trust and confidence, and, you know, I give you that coach look. We're gonna win the game. We're gonna get that W, Doug. Don't you worry about it.
I just sigh heavily and turn to the wheel. Again, I'm going to do it. I have no choice. I will get this car, and we're going to kill Steve Sanderson, but deep down I know that we lose either way. There's no way we win. We can't now.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the scenario Tapestry of Suburbia from the scenario collection The Forbidden for KULT Divinity Lost. KULT Divinity Lost is published by Helmgast, who have also sponsored this series. Joining us as players in this series are none other than Bridgett Jeffries from Symphony Entertainment and our dear friend Matthew Dawkins. The music was made by Atrium Corsari, featuring a number of collaborations with other artists, and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We'd like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Antxon, and Graham Barey for their generous support. And we'd of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that community is everything.